In this lesson, you will learn about the email address and its structure. You will see the advantages of email and the guidelines to follow when using it. You will learn about the dangers of email, such as phishing and fraudulent emails. You will also learn about other means of electronic communication, such as voice over IP, VoIP, short messages, and instant messaging. To start, click the Next button. Electronic mail, or email for short, is a method of exchanging digital messages with other people. As well as communicating and distributing information, email is a convenient way to archive or store messages. To use email, both the sender and the recipient must have an email address. Email addresses are always written in a standard format that includes a username, the @ symbol, and the email provider's domain. The username is the unique name you choose to identify yourself, and the email provider is the website that hosts your email account. For example, look at this email address, john@gmail.com. John is the username or the unique name that identifies the person who owns the email address. Then we have the @ symbol, followed by Gmail, which is the email provider's domain. Another example is linda@hotmail.com. It's made up in exactly the same way, just the username and domain are different. All domains end with a suffix. For example, .gov for government websites, .edu for schools in the US, or .ac.uk for academic institutions in the UK, and .org for non-profit organizations. The most common communication by email has lots of advantages. Click each of the tabs to learn about these. Emails are easy to use. You can organize your daily correspondence, send and receive messages, and save them on your computer. Emails are delivered almost instantly to anywhere in the world. Automated response. It is possible to set an automated response message to emails sent to you. These are generally pre-set responses. This is particularly useful if you are away or temporarily unavailable, as it efficiently acknowledges emails and informs the sender that you are currently unavailable. Effective advertising tool. Companies can advertise their products and services using email advertising campaigns. Netiquette is the contraction of the words network and etiquette. It is a charter that defines the rules of conduct and politeness recommended in the use of new technologies. You should follow these guidelines when sending emails to others. Click each of the tabs shown to learn more about email etiquette guidelines. Avoid writing in capital letters, as this gives the impression of shouting. If you want to highlight words, underline them, put them in bold, or use colours. When writing an email, make sure it is short, crisp, and to the point. The subject line of an email should succinctly explain the purpose of the email. It is proper etiquette to acknowledge emails. Reread your email before you send it. Chances are that you may have misspelt a word or may have missed an important point. The advantage of email over traditional mail is that you can send it to one or more people without rewriting the message. CC is short for carbon copy. Anyone listed in the CC field of an email message will receive a copy of the message. When you use the CC field, all recipients of the email will be aware that the message has been copied. The CC field is useful when you wish to share the content of the message with others, but not direct it to them. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. The BCC field can be used when you do not wish to share your recipient's email addresses, or you do not wish others to know that the information in the email is being shared. Including a file attachment in an email message is a simple way to share documents, images, videos and other files. Follow these basic guidelines when including attachments in your emails. Mention attachments. It is important to refer to the attachment in the body of your email itself. Also remember to add the attachment. It's easy to focus on your message and forget to include the file itself before sending. Consider file size and format of your email. Try to avoid sending excessively large attachments or uncompressed photos, which can take a long time to download. Use universal file types. Ensure that the attachments in your mail do not need to be viewed in a specific application. It is best to use universal file types, such as a PDF, an RTF file, or a JPEG file. In addition to receiving phishing threats in email, attachments in email are the most common means of spreading viruses and other malware programs from one computer to another. It is for this reason that you should never open email attachments from sources that are unknown to you. Phishing is the term used when someone tries to fraudulently extract confidential information, such as usernames, passwords, or credit card details, by pretending to be a trustworthy entity, such as the victim's credit card company or bank. A phishing email often looks authentic and appears to have come from legitimate sources such as eBay, Facebook, PayPal, or banking institutions. These emails ask you to update information or validate it by asking you to log in to your account. After capturing your login credentials in this way, the phisher can gain access to your account and any personal information that is stored there. If you suspect that an email you have received is fraudulent, it is a good idea to examine the domain name of the website link that it contains. For example, if you are directed to a web page for PayPal, the domain name should end with paypal.com. An address like www.paypal.com is clearly a valid domain, but phishers may create web pages with very similar domain addresses, such as www.paypal123.com, in an effort to deceive users. Although email is a very useful communications tool, it can unfortunately be used negatively by people who run scams and by cybercriminals. One example of email fraud is an attempt to illegally access someone else's account number or password. You should never respond to any message that asks you to disclose this information, or indeed any personal information. A digital signature is a small block of data that is attached to documents as a signature, confirming its authenticity. These are used to acknowledge and authenticate digital documents. If you receive a message or a document with a digital signature, you can be sure that it was sent by the stated sender and that the message was not altered in transit. It's basically an electronic version of a handwritten signature. Digital signatures can be used with files in PDF format, emails, and word processing applications. Digital signatures are generated using a digital ID. SMS, which stands for Short Message Service, is a service for sending short text messages to mobile phones. They are often simply called text messages, or even just texts. Although SMS is generally used for sending messages from one mobile phone to another, other options are possible. For instance, you could send an SMS from a web application, such as Skype. SMS has a character limitation. Each message is limited to 160 characters, including spaces. It is also possible to send an SMS to a landline phone. When you do this, an automated voice reads the message to the recipient. Another useful means of electronic communication is instant messaging, or IM for short. IM lets you send real-time text messages over the Internet. It also allows connections between specific known users, often using a contact list known as a buddy list or friend list. Using instant messaging, you and your contact type messages to one another in a small window that appears on the screen. Click on each of these tabs to find out more about the features of instant messaging programs. Users can send exchange notes with a friend or a colleague. Users can create a chat room with friends or colleagues. Users can chat to each other by video. Users can share music files. Users can share files by sending them directly to friends. Users can also exchange instant messages from cell phones. Voice over Internet Protocol, or VoIP, is another form of electronic communication. VoIP lets you make telephone calls over the Internet. Using VoIP is less expensive and more flexible than conventional telephone services. VoIP also offers a range of additional features, such as call waiting, call forwarding, caller ID, voicemail, and video conferencing, call routing, and call history. When choosing a VoIP service, you can select the features you want included in your package. For larger businesses, it's often more economical and easier to purchase and install their own VoIP equipment, instead of using a paid-for VoIP service. A virtual community is a community of people who share the same interests about a subject, and who want to get together online to collaborate or exchange ideas. Here are some examples of virtual communities. Click each of the images to learn more about them. Social networking websites provide a platform for users to directly interact with each other. Facebook is a good example. Chatrooms are online communities where users exchange text or media messages with other users in real time. In the online gaming community, players compete in multiplayer games in a virtual world. Internet forums are websites where people can post messages. Most forums let you include images and links to other web pages in your posts. Forums are similar in some ways to chat rooms, but they facilitate longer messages, so are better, more detailed discussions. Also, the messages are archived, which means they are stored and available for future reference. Gaia Online is an English-language, Japanese animation-themed forum that reportedly has almost 30 million members. Congratulations! You have now completed this 5th lesson in our online IT skills module. In this lesson, you have learned about the email address and its structure. You have seen the advantages of email and the guidelines to follow when using it. You have learned about the dangers of email, such as phishing and fraudulent emails. Finally, you have also learned about other means of electronic communication, such as voice over IP, VoIP, short messages, and instant messaging.